Okay, I'm Mark, and this is going to be the repair of a German wall clock. I've documented the clock before planning to disassemble it. You can see the image that was on the back of the clock that I've sort of used a pencil to work through. I've taken pictures of all different views of the clock, and then I've actually, as you see, I've drawn out each of the gears and their relationship to each other. This is the chime side. Then I've got the front plate. You can see the front plate and the gears and their relation to each other. The barrel assemblies on the front plate, you can see those. And then also got the back plate where the snail and the hammer mechanism is. And then finally I documented the time side. You see 1 through 5, and that's each of the individual wheels. Now, my goal here is to try to disassemble the clock, and this is a clock top view. This is the chime side view, bottom view. There's your back view. The front view. And then this is the time side view. So I'm going to disassemble and give a full cleaning to the clock. Okay, we start on the front side of the clock, and you have to power the clock down, and that's a safety issue. So I'm going to hold the clock, and you see this is the winding mechanisms. You find the right size winder, and then I'm sure that's good for it. But you see this little switch right here. You got to be able to lift that switch while you're holding this to let the power down. So there, I've just done it. I'm pushing the clicker and then just let the power down as it grabs my glove and wraps my glove up in it. But try to keep going. I'm gonna just continue to see it's now it's down. The power's off that side. Now I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Tighten it and then slowly let that slip in my hand until the power's down. So that is the first step in safely disassembling the clock. Okay, to keep track of all the parts as it comes apart, I've got 4 different containers. There's the chime side. I've got a time side, the back plate, and then the front plate. And we're going to start on the front plate side. So I'll use this front plate off to the side, bring the clock back into view, and I'm going to now, since the power's down, I'm going to take all of these parts and put them into the pan. First step is to find a screwdriver that fits it. This is a gunsmith screwdriver. You notice the particular shape of the screwdriver. It's designed to fit down into the slot without slipping or damaging the head of the screw. So I'm going to remove the first one. Power's down. I'm going to remove the, okay, now you see that it doesn't fit that one, so I've got to find another screwdriver. Okay, we've now got the right screwdriver, and place it into the screw, and we're going to remove this click spring. There goes the spring. Here's a little screw, and then we're going to replace this screwdriver with the other one because it fits better, and remove the click. Go. Now this just slide off. I can just get it loose. a small lifter. Find another small lifter. And you just have to work it until it comes off. There it goes. So that's the first side. And you notice that's all now in the front side pan. Now I've just got to do rinse and repeat for the other side. Okay, got another one. There it goes. And I just pulled that off. Notice it's got reference points. Otherwise, you'd have an issue realigning that pivot. Okay, so now we should be able to slide the, I believe that's the hour hand. Okay, that's the hour hand wheel. And then the next one is the minute hand wheel. And you notice it has 2 pins on it. So as it comes around on the hour and half hour, that's the regulator wheel that lets it launch. The strike, see there's a 1 and a 2, right? And then this is the wheel that allows the hour and minute to be connected. Okay, the next thing we'll remove is a spring, and then this is attached to this shaft that goes back, and if you'll notice, it rides on the snell. So this is part of the chime mechanism that allows the transfer from time to chime side. I'll be right back. Okay, the next step is to remove the spring. So we're going to see about taking the screw out. Careful, don't damage the clock. Okay, there's the spring out. Now we have to pull this pin in order to get this bar mechanism off. So let's see if that's going to slide free for us without damaging anything. Not yet. Keep working on it. There it goes. All right, real easy. And then now there's a wire that's been stuck through this pin that we have to straighten out in order to be able to pull this bar off. Hopefully you can see that. All right, see I'm straightening that wire, so I'm going to slide the wire out now. Here it should come. But I'm having to be careful with the front of this clock because it still has, there goes the wire, it still has the hammer on it, and I probably should have taken the hammer off before I got started, but we'll go do that. All right, now this is the part that rides on this double, see that double pin arrangement that moves this up and down, and this bar basically is the start feature for your chimes. Speaking of chimes. All right, so now I'm going to just try to get this off without damaging anything. And we will move forward. There it goes. So now we have this start bar removed, and that now completes the front of the clock, and everything, as you notice, is going to be inside a little thing called front. Okay, we're on the back side of the clock now, so I have my back plate box sitting here to the side, and we're going to start by removing. This is called the crutch, and you notice this is a bearing, and then this is the pallet that regulates the time, and it goes through another adjustable bushing. So since this one adjusts, I'm making the assumption that when I remove this, there's 2 pins here that indexes this back one to where I don't have to worry about relocating when we get started to put it back together. So I'm going to remove this, and I can see, yes, it's got the pins, the same pins, so I've got to be very careful here. There's the first screw out. All right, there it is, and there's the pins I was speaking about. Now carefully pull that out, pull this up without doing anything, and now we've just taken out the pallet and the crutch assembly. Okay, So now what you're looking at, there's the hammer. So I've got to remove the hammer, and in order to remove the hammer I have to pull this pin, and there we go. There's that little tapered rod. Now the question is, can I get this off? And I think what I'm going to do is, the answer is yes, I can get it off. But notice somebody's done a repair. Sorry for the hands, but if you'll see this, you'll see how I'm going to. This is a hand remover. I'm just going to use it as a mechanism to try to remove this without. Yeah, it's a pain. It's being ugly. Keep going. There it goes. All right. So this is now. Well, it's not off yet, but it's close. Yes, it's close. All right. So that's the hammer mechanism. That's on a square shaft. You can see the shaft here. It's square, and it looks like it's been repaired before. You can see that. Okay. So now we're going to remove the spring. So in order to remove the spring, just take out this screw. And by the way, I did take measurements of all of the distances, to where when I go to put this back together, if all works well, I should be able to just assemble it, do a couple of measurements, and at least get it back to where it was, to help reduce the amount of work necessary to get this thing back together. Now, this is called the Snell mechanism, and this is what regulates the number of beats that the clock makes per hour. So each one of these little notches is just a little bit longer than the other. You notice these short ones right here, here. The short ones are for 1, 2, 3, and what ends up happening is this little rise here. That's what basically lets it stop and give you your timing feature. It holds the hammer up. To get it off, it looks like there's a hole there, and it should have had something in it in order to retain it. I don't see anything there retaining it. So I should be able to pull it off, but you saw how hard the hammer was to come off. It's been years since this has been off, and I certainly don't want to grab it from the outside and pull and potentially warp this wheel. I need to figure out a way to grab it from underneath, so give me a couple, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've put some PB Blaster on this. Notice also that I've got this little piece of PVC that's been cut off, to where I can successfully set the clock to where it's flat. Okay, however we need to do that. See there, you can see it to where it's flat, and I can get a purchase on this to remove it. Well, while we were off camera, I found this screwdriver and was able to get here and sort of pull, and there it goes. It's just basically pulled it off. But you can also see the PB Blaster that was on that, so I'm going to drop that in. And it looks like I don't need to go any deeper at this point. We'll deal with this when we get it all apart. The next step is going to be separating the clock halves.